Okay, check this out. So the sun, for this is the chart for my current time and place, and the sun is a hair away from Sagittarius. So yeah, let's talk about what the most adventurous sign is, since that's kind of a Sagittarian keyword. That's kind of their thing. Starting out with Aquarius. So as usual, Aquarius makes me think when it comes to these tier videos. Yeah, on the one hand, they are one of the more unpredictable signs. They can be pretty out there and pretty bold, pretty unpredictable. Part of their unpredictability, though, is that they will be predictable for a while and then just suddenly change. They kind of keep you on your toes like that. Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn, which is a very constrictive energy. I would say they're still more adventurous than not, but not, I'm going to put them in the second tier, the tourist tier is what I called it. Next is Aries. Aries is clearly one of the most adventurous signs. Aries definitely gives Sagittarius a run for their money, for its money. Yeah, Aries is cardinal fire, so they're just all about starting anything, initiating anything. They start shit. They want to go do something. They want to adventure. There are, of course, exceptions to this. I'm not just talking about sun signs, by the way. I'm talking about the signs in general. You can apply this to sun signs. But anyway, yeah, there are exceptions, but when it comes to these generalizing the signs, Aries is about as adventurous as it gets. Part of that adventurousness is their optimism too. Like they're more inclined to, partaking in something a little bit riskier because they see the glass half full. They're very, very optimistic. Next is Cancer. Cancer should be pretty obvious. They're maybe definitely one of the least adventurous signs. Cancer is notorious for being a homebody. It's a very conservative sign. They don't like to take risks. So yeah, it kind of just goes without saying. Cancer is going to prefer a safe option. They're going to prefer hanging out with people they already know, doing something that they've already done before. If this made me happy before, why not just do it again? That's the logic here. So nothing wrong with that. Next is Capricorn. Capricorn is also going to be not very adventurous at all. I would say, we'll see. I didn't plan this before doing the video, but I would say Cancer and Capricorn are probably the least adventurous signs. And it's kind of interesting because these are two very different signs, but they are exactly opposite each other in the zodiac. So there are always certain commonalities that do crossover when you have two opposing signs like that. So I think this is one of those situations. Both Cancer and Capricorn really want structure, they want stability, and that kind of comes at the cost of not being so adventurous. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. Capricorn's all about, well, for one, being very conservative, cautious, etc., kind of like Cancer. But Capricorn's all about the long term, like what's going to be the greatest adventure in a very long term sense. So that's not really, adventurous is more about like spur of the moment. That's what I think of. Not so much like planning everything like Capricorn would. Next is Gemini. Gemini is a very adventurous sign. I wouldn't say Gemini's in the top one or two. Top few for sure, like top several. But Gemini is so curious. They get bored easily. They're very restless. I would definitely say they're more adventurous than Aquarius, in my personal opinion. The only thing getting in the way of Gemini being adventurous is that they do overthink a lot. So depending on the person and what placements we're talking about, Gemini might get a little bogged down into the details and maybe end up like procrastinating or something. But that's just the only kind of exception I can think of. In general, Gemini wants adventure. They want to try new things. Gemini definitely has a positive bias toward any new thing, any new person, any new place. They're going to view that new idea, that new concept a little bit more favorably. So I don't know. They're definitely in the top two. I would say they're more adventurous than Aquarius, but less adventurous than Aries. I might put them in the top tier for now. Next is Leo. So Leo is a fire sign, of course. The fire signs generally are very adventurous. They're very bold, very confident, very optimistic. They're very adventurous. They're very wild. I would say Leo is the least adventurous of the fire signs, though, because Leo is a fixed fire sign, the fixed fire sign. Leo is a little bit more stable. They want a little bit more commitment and a little bit more structure than their their fellow fire sign counterparts. So I would say tourist. It's kind of interesting comparing Leo and Gemini in this regard because, yeah, generally I would say fire signs are more adventurous than air signs. But comparing Leo to Gemini, I think Leo wants a little bit more structure than Gemini does. Gemini is more willing to, I don't know, just try anything new just for the sake of trying something new, experimenting. So I don't know, you could kind of argue, you could make a case that Leo is more adventurous than Gemini because they are more bold, they're more confident. But I still think Gemini's curiosity kind of beats Leo's Leo's adventurousness here. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I would say Gemini would be maybe a little bit more adventurous than Leo, though. I mean, they're pretty close, right? They're both going to be down for an adventure, generally speaking. Next is Libra. So with Libra, it really depends. Libra is easily the most kind of cautious air sign, I would say, because Libra, although it's an air sign, it's a yang sign. It's probably the most yin of the yang signs, if that makes sense. So in other words, it's the most receptive yang sign. Like in some ways, it almost acts like a more feminine or receptive sign. So because of that, generally speaking, the yang signs are more spontaneous, more adventurous. Yin signs are more cautious. Libra is a little bit more cautious. Libra wants stability. It doesn't want to make any bold movements. It doesn't, Libra's constantly taking into account so many different factors, and it wants harmony and all that. But it is interesting, though, if you pair Libra with a certain personality that's adventurous in the right way, then Libra can be adventurous. But it's really weird. It's almost like Libra needs a catalyst. It needs like an adventurous group or an adventurous person to kind of lead them, if that makes sense. And then Libra's cool with it. They're down to party. They're down to adventure. But on their own, or with the wrong kind of personality, Libra is going to be very conservative, very cautious. They're going to be more in the group of, let's just do whatever's been working. Let's just stick with that. There's no need for experimenting. That would be more Libra's philosophy. So I would say average, because again, they can be kind of skewed either way. I don't know. We'll see how I rank the other signs. I'm kind of contemplating downgrading Libra here, putting them with Cancer and Capricorn. Kind of interesting. We have some of the cardinal signs piling up down there. But for now, I'm going to put Libra in average here. Super exciting. Next is Pisces. Pisces is a yin sign, but I was actually just thinking about this for a completely different reason. I don't remember why, but Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. So I think Pisces has, like in many ways, Pisces is very much a yin sign. It's a water sign, very receptive, very kind of inward focused, very emotional. These are all things that we would expect from yin signs, generally speaking. What else? But I do think Pisces can act like a yang sign in the sense that they're so open and they are very adventurous, because they're ruled by Jupiter, which is a pretty yang energy, very adventurous, spontaneous, outgoing. In some ways, technically, I don't know, or on paper, Pisces actually, I don't know what I'm saying. But is Pisces adventurous? They're very adventurous. They're among the most adventurous. I would say more so than Gemini. Like I said, I'm debating bumping Gemini down, but dang, now I'm overthinking. I was thinking I could order all of them. That'd be too tedious, though. Let's move on to Sagittarius for now. Sagittarius, I like how in alphabetical order there are these weird patterns, because Sagittarius comes after Pisces if you put the signs in alphabetical order. And it is very interesting comparing Sagittarius and Pisces. They're both mutable signs. They're both ruled by Jupiter. They're both very adventurous. Jupiter is like the planet of adventure, of, the journey. Life is about the journey, not the destination. That's what Jupiter says. So you can really see this in both Pisces and Sagittarius, the two Jupiter ruled signs. Both of these are just all about the experience, the adventure. They don't necessarily care a whole lot about exactly how things happen. They just want to, let's just live through the experience, whatever the experience is. So yeah, I would say they're the most adventurous. I'm gonna bump Gemini down a little bit. Let's. Oh yeah. Let's. I guess I'll order them. I don't know which would be more adventurous. Aries, Pisces, Sagittarius. They're all very, very adventurous in my opinion. So, generally speaking, of course. Next is Scorpio. I already thought of Scorpio before this. Like right before I started filming, I was thinking, how am I going to rank Scorpio? Because on the one hand, Scorpio really wants stability, structure. They're very loyal. They're all about commitment, and they want things to be consistent. Scorpio is very aware of how everything is constantly changing and either growing or decaying or maybe both. Scorpio knows how dynamic the world is, so I think Scorpio has this pressure to like hold on to things and make them last. So on that note, Scorpio is not adventurous at all. They want to control things. They want consistency. On the other hand, though, Scorpio does have a tendency to be very extreme. And so, so that's through that extremeness. I think this is one of, typically with Scorpio, the way it goes is, like, they're either going to be very adventurous or not adventurous at all. They're either going to have long hair or be bald. They're either going to be totally sober or they're going to be, doing all kinds of drugs and drinking or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that's just another one of these examples where I could see Scorpio being super straight-laced and let's cross every T and dot every I. Or I could see Scorpio completely just going, head over heels into constant adventure like no one's ever done before. You know what I mean? So I'm going to bump Libra down. And I would say Scorpio is more adventurous than Libra. Scorpio is a little bit more willing to be bold, to do something dramatic, to put themselves out there. I think that would all kind of fall around, being adventurous in general. I think this is one of those things where the more I think about what it means to be adventurous, the less the word seems to have any meaning at all. It's like when you just keep saying the word over and over again, starting to forget what it means, but it's good. It's fortunate we're almost done. But yeah, Scorpio, they're very adventurous. They're not adventurous. I'll just put them in the middle. Okay, next is Taurus. Taurus is one of the least adventurous signs. Oh no, I'm kind of debating it though. I'm gonna put them in the homebody tier section, whatever. I would say, okay, Taurus does like to have a good time. I could see Taurus enjoying like a road trip or, I don't know, some kind of sport maybe, like skiing. Like there could be some kind of adventure that Taurus would enjoy. Or like camping, for example, is like a very Taurian kind of pastime because it's not like super intense. It's a pretty laid back pastime generally. And enjoying nature and things like that. So yeah, I could see Taurus. Taurus is kind of a hedonistic sign. They're a little bit pleasure seeking. They may do that through an adventure, but on the other hand, Taurus can also be a couch potato, homebody. It's another very kind of conservative sign, very cautious. So yeah, I wouldn't say they're the most, I wouldn't say they're the least adventurous, but they're down there. They're definitely not as extreme as like Scorpio, for example. Taurus is very like vanilla sign, kind of just middle of the road. So I'm gonna keep Scorpio an average. I'm debating putting Taurus an average, whatever. I'm gonna leave it where it is for now. And lastly is Virgo. So Virgo being a mutable sign, I don't think people realize. I've seen discussions where people go, "How is Virgo a mutable sign?" And to me, I don't know how it wouldn't be. Just like with any mutable sign, Virgo has a wide range of different, behaviors, different personalities it can kind of adapt to. Virgo may be rigid with like opinions and set in their ways, but all of that is based on adaptations that they've made to their environment with information that they've picked up. So I'm kind of losing myself. I'm going on a tangent like a dead end. My point was that my point was Virgo can be. I've seen some pretty freaking wild Virgos. Okay, yeah, I've got some stories that we don't even need to get into, and I'm not talking about myself either. I'm talking about I myself have my own stories, but no, I've seen some pretty wild Virgos. But generally speaking, generalizing Virgo as a sign, no, they're not one of the more adventurous signs. Virgo does they do like constant change and growth, but they're all about like slow growth, gradual changes, gradual growth, making adjustments here and there. So that being said, I do think Virgo would like some adventure from time to time. They're all about calculated risk, but generally speaking, not very adventurous. I do think they're a little bit more adventurous than Cancer or Capricorn. Okay, so I'm gonna put Virgo here next to Taurus and Libra. I think that makes sense. You can kind of just see, depending on how you interpret the word adventurous, you can kind of glean different things by looking at this. I think Libra, Taurus, Virgo, it kind of just makes sense. They'd all be hanging out together. They like to put themselves out there a little bit from time to time, but generally they're going to take kind of the safer route. You know what I mean? They're a little bit more free flowing than Cancer or Capricorn, which are very, very like focused on safety and maybe even a little bit rigid in that regard. I have seen some very adventurous Cancers though, and Capricorns in their own way. Anyway, but yeah, that's how I'd rank them. So let me know your thoughts on that. If you are interested in getting a reading, please hit me up. My information is in the description. That's what supports the channel, allows me to post videos like this. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.